Alright, so I've gone through and kind of explained everything, but last thing I want to do is just kind of make a terrain that looks nice and all that using these scripts. And so I'm gonna start off with my Portland map here. I'm gonna check that. And so again, it is very blocky, but I'm gonna mess with these values just a little bit. Uh, Something like that. That change anything? I don't know. That looks interesting. And so you'll notice I have this kind of really tiled stone texture on right now. And that's because I haven't set any of the apply splat maps settings yet. But we'll get there. And so before I keep going, I'm actually going to smooth it down just so I kind of know what I'm looking at a little bit more for the next couple steps. So we got this nice kind of canyon thing. I think this is like the Columbia and the Willamette, if I'm not mistaken. um, uh, Portland native should probably know that, but a resident. But yeah, so I'm gonna make sure to hit my reset terrain, because if I don't hit my reset terrain script, by the way, just if I try to add perlin or whatever, or if I leave it on, it's gonna reset or do whatever. So I need to make sure that's off. Re-smooth. And yeah, and I'm gonna move down the height scale just a little bit, so it's not as strong, but kind of does something. And this looks a little wobbly to me. That's fine. That's okay for the moment. And I'm gonna add some Voronoi peaks here, and so not too many, but maybe a little bit more of a drop off. And I think I want the Sine Pow combo. And you see a few of them showing up. I realize that the max height's actually a little, or the minimum height's actually a little low, so I'll kick that up too. Yeah, okay, so we got some peaks here. Again, they look very unnatural, which is fine because using our midpoint displacement, hopefully we get a result that we like the look of. That's not exactly what I was looking for. Oh, that's interesting. I like that a lot. That has got a nice. This is interesting because yeah, we can add some water in here. Yeah, yeah, this is a good look. We can kind of fix up these kind of just silly, sharp-looking peaks at the top here. And again, I'm just gonna go. I'm actually gonna smooth it down just a little bit before doing any erosion. You know what? I am gonna add the water in already. So going to our water here, just add it, see where that puts that. So I want that definitely lower. Yeah, try a little bit lower. Just a touch lower. Oops. Just a touch lower. I don't want that. I don't know. It looks a little, well, I don't know. It's actually not the worst. I'm changing my mind. We're gonna go higher. Yeah, I actually kind of want that to encompass that. So we'll kick it up to a full 0.1. Yeah, there we go. All right, it's good enough. Yeah, okay, so we got our nice lake mountain thing. And I could add a shoreline here, but that would look a little strange, especially here for a small little lake. It doesn't make a huge amount of sense, so I will just select that, get rid of that. And again, because this is just kind of like what the terrain size I chose for it, it ends here, but again, this because if we look at our terrain settings, you know, it's the 500 500 terrain width and height or length. I'm sorry. So if we did want to make it larger, we could, but just for example, we're just gonna stick with this. Okay, so we got kind of a sharp cliff into this water, which is cool. So let's do a little bit of erosion. So I want to kind of flatten down some of these peaks. So I think I'm going to do a tidal erosion. A little more droplets to give it a bit more erosion. Actually, I'm going to do wind, which isn't a huge difference, but I think the difference will make a little bit nicer looking result. So yeah, okay. Still looks a little, I don't know, pointy. I like this over here too. So yeah, we'll switch it over to tidal right here, and we'll kick up the erosion strength a little bit and erosion amount. And cool. I think that's good. Yeah. We can even just manually smooth it down, or not manually, but just use the literal smooth down thing if we want a little bit flatter areas around here. Okay, so my imagination for this is kind of saying, you know, I want kind of trees lining the edge here. Oh, it's like Crater Lake, another Oregonian thing. We're just missing an island in the middle here. But yeah. So let's start with the splat maps. I'm thinking a little bit of snow on the top here, but not over here. I think sticking with the stone texture for the side is fine. And then yeah, we'll try to do some grass on the top here on the flatter parts. So let's add two more. So this is the snow texture. Okay, so we'll select that snow texture. I don't actually remember which one with all these kind of strange looking rocks or kind of low quality rock textures. I don't remember which one's which. We'll choose that one for the rock, and we'll choose gravel, grass, dead grass. Let's choose living grass. Okay. So I eyeballing it for the moment. So let's just hit apply splat maps and just see what happens. Okay. Actually really hate the look. Oh, that's the stone. So this is the blended stone and grass texture, by the way. That's why it's kind of looking the way it does. And so we've got ourselves a nice little peppermint frozen yogurt mountain here. But you do see that it did apply the snow to the top here. But I'm going to use a less patterned snow like this. Okay, that made a complete minimal difference, but that's fine. So you see we have our stone, we have our grass. So I'm going to say let's actually use a different rock here, a little bit less noticeable tile. There we go. Okay, great. Maybe we got a little snow here too, so that's good. That's good. So I'm gonna say with this with the grass, I'm gonna say let's make the max slope 30. Okay. So you have kind of this dark rock with occasional splashes of grass at the top. Doesn't look bad. So the other thing I might not have mentioned in the video is I have this splat noise scale here, and that's just kind of adding a little bit of variance, so it doesn't only apply to the very strict regions that the math of the height and slopes will indicate. It kind of it'll splotch, you know, kind of get a little noisier. So that didn't make much of a difference. Let's try kicking it up. Try kicking up the scalar just a little bit. I swear it does something. Don't flame me. Okay. Okay. So, oh yeah, see, it changed it. It changed it a little bit over here, but it wasn't a huge difference. It's fine. And so this is what happens, by the way, if there's kind of a gap, essentially, in textures. So for right here, the heights and angles just work out so that nothing is being splatted on there. So we'll have to fix that in just a second here. Okay. Other than that, I don't know. What else? What else? We'll fix that. So we'll have this go a little bit higher. There we go. See, but now it's kind of blending with the snow, which I don't necessarily want. So I'm gonna actually kick that down. Just well, actually, kind of a bit, but yeah. So now it kind of blends nicely from the snow back to the mountains, which is definitely what we want. And yeah, so it's kind of a 5-second little setup of that. And now for the vegetation. Okay, so we have our singular applied tree over here. So let's kick this. I don't know, 2000. We'll just click apply with. I believe it's okay. It's a rock. I don't know. This looks like okay. I did say it was Crater Lake, so let's try with the pine trees. All right, so it kind of throws them everywhere. Oh, and I have some color settings on here right now, so I'm just gonna white one of them out and add. I don't know. Nice, darker green. Yeah, okay. So see it kind of ranges from this, and it also ranges in size from the lighter to the darker green that I selected. Okay. So that looks fine, but I think, so what do I have? Okay, so I had by default in here the max slope at 37, so that's why it's not really applying them on too many of the sharp angle areas. So I'm gonna stick with that, but then kick up the number of trees and then reduce the spacing. So kind of, yeah, there we go. So it's getting it up in kind of the areas I don't want it to. So I'm gonna kick this down, something like that. Might have to kick it down more. Nah. All right, looks fine. Yeah, I think that looks something like that. I'll kick this up just a little bit. Then we're kind of getting weird spots like that. Oh, and it's going a little too low too. So we got our Lost Forest of Atlantis down here. So we'll kick that up just a bit. Too high, so now it doesn't encompass that. See, it's a little finicky as far as what numbers work. You know, you got to kind of experiment a little bit. So, okay, 3, 1. Aha. No submerged trees as far as I can see. Great. And so you can kind of see the LOD popping in and out and stuff like that. And so you'll notice that some of these trees are kind of weirdly placed. That is totally fine. Just running a single smooth to just kind of reset the positions. There we go. See, now they're all placed accordingly. And yeah, and so we can add a little bit of, we can add more, we can add some rocks, I guess. Rocks. So again, these are kind of old Unity assets that aren't included in modern ones because they look kind of terrible, but doesn't stop me from using them. Yeah. So I think I'm fine with just kind of throwing in the default number there. So okay, so that is too many rocks. That is a number of rocks I'm not comfortable with. So we'll kick down the density a little bit. And all right, a little less rocky. I said the max height was like 0.2. So let's say the max height. I'll even go a little higher. So now we got rocks all the way up into our snow top mountains over here. And so the LOD popping in and out, that's just what the LOD settings are for these particular objects. Yeah, that's kind of how that works. See, their normal kind of vegetation as far as a terrain object going. They're just being procedurally added. Yeah, sure. And we could always add more and stuff like that if we wanted to, but for quick demonstration, quote unquote quick, this is fine. And so doing the smooth again, it'll place them kind of properly. Yeah, and so with the detail, this is also oh, last thing I want to show off with the vegetation, sorry, is the min-max scale. So all these rocks are pretty uniform looking. I'm going to literally kick up the max scale to 4 just to see some bigger rocks. So we got a couple big ones. Yeah, see? Some of the guys. Yeah, we got big guys like this one here. Smaller guys. Oh, it looks a little bit more average, honestly, but love a stark change in size example, but you can kind of see there's a little bit more variance in the size. Well, you know what? Well I'm gonna do it. Tell me. Yeah, okay. So there is a size difference here. They're kind of small objects in general, so scale doesn't do too much with it, but yeah. And for smooth it one more time, I'm going to add our details in, which does in the same way as yeah, that looks good. Same way as the trees, sorry, or the vegetation. I'm sorry. Yeah, try something like that. Okay, so yeah, and they're kind of weirdly green. I'll make them a little darker. Yeah, cool. Cool. All right, I can even reduce the spacing if I wanted to. Make it much more dense grass-wise. Looks a little strange. Oh, actually looks pretty good. I don't know. It's kind of a weird one to duplicate as much as it is, but I think it works. Try this. Yeah, I don't know. Something like that. Why not? Okay. And yeah, so now if we hit smooth one more time, resets all the trees to the right spots. We can jump into our kind of pseudo controlled game here. It's very much just a walking around script, so this is the aerial view. I set the gravity really low for this just so it can kind of get shots to demonstrate stuff like this. I'm going to actually change that real quick off camera. I'll edit this part out. Where's my outliner? I put that somewhere, but I guess I didn't. Okay, so now we've got our controller back on. We drop in. See the LOD for the trees kind of popping in and out. And yeah, so we got this interesting little lake landscape or crater lake per se. And so none of these have a collision by default, but of course you could add that if you so desired. We got our large amount of rocks, grass. Yeah. So that's nice. So thank you for watching. Sorry, this is a little bit of a unorganized video, but again, it was just kind of like a start to finish process of creating one of these landscapes using this. So thank you.